From Sarum, we see the largest army we've seen since the days of Uther Pendragon. You see the banners of Logris, almost all of them, with to some degree, some contingent from almost every county is present. Standouts are, of course, Salisbury, surprisingly Summerland, smattering from Silchester, and banners we don't see as often, banners from the kingdom of Escavalon, from Nanteleod's lands, from beyond them, further into Cambria, all moving together under one march, under one king and one winter prince. We see the banners of Nanteleod, the commander of this army, and the contingents of men that follow him, as they continue to march towards Duplain. We zoom in for a second on our marshal and our new knight from Newton Manor. For the sake of this scene, we'll have the two of you kind of riding together in this large command.
I think Virgil, at a certain point, clear his throat and go, "Have you seen battle yet, boy? It's a squire or otherwise."
Hugon shakes his head. He's the ride so far has been slightly uncomfortable, as if the thought of going into a large scale battle is a bit intimidating. But still, he's kind of hunched over. He's a large young lad, and he looks over. I have not, and I wasn't exactly planning on my very first battle to be one so large.
It's been a long time since anyone's seen numbers like this. You know, I was part of the team that killed Gorlo long time ago.
Oh, I've heard a story or two about that battle. There's some nastiness from perhaps both sides, but I've only heard a few points of view.
The king wanted someone dead, and we were compelled to obey. There wasn't anything complicated about it. It was the first time I'd ever faced knights, though. They fight differently than Saxons. It's, well. Here's what I'd like you to do. Trust your instincts, and whatever you do, don't hesitate. You may think of the enemy as common man, fellow knight, or warrior on the field, but they aren't any of those things. They're a killer, even if they aren't. And they will choose to end your life if you don't choose to end theirs first. Always. Do you understand?
I do, Marshal. And Hugon will give a small smile as he looks towards the horizon. I can see where you get your reputation.
Oh? And what reputation is that?
Perhaps a little bloodthirst, but I can't say it's wrong to think this way. We are going to battle, and we are about to, either kill or be killed.
Your impression of me is not entirely inaccurate. I've always been different than others. But I don't see that as a point of weakness. Right now, Salisbury needs a strong and decisive marshal, one whose loyalties lie with its people and not elsewhere. Trust this. though many think me frightening, I have your best interests at heart. If you stay beside me, I will do all in my power to make sure that you kill today.
I think Hugon wrestles with something, as if he is about to say perhaps a joke. He looks over with a smirk on his face and realizes again who he's talking to. Exactly, it's not like he's talking to his fellow new knights or mercenary knights. This is the marshal, and he kind of stops. He gives a firm nod. And I'll do my best to make sure I don't get in your way, at least too much.
I think you're going to be a very good knight, Hugon. I look forward to watching you. Well, I suppose we should focus on the task at hand. Tell me, you know anything of strategy, boy?
I admit my studies on stratagem are... Well, I read at least... I've been read to a few pages, but I don't think I'm anywhere close to seasoned.
Suppose then we'll just have to trust each other to look out for the other. I'm a fine strategist, but I have no illusions about the fact that I am not the best that lies out there. If you offer me advice, I'll be happy to consider it.
The only advice I could give a marshal is perhaps something that you would already know, but something I do plan on making more of a point in the future if I get the opportunity. Newton Manor comes from a line of horse masters, I must admit, and while we have been fighting Saxons for so long, we have kind of forgotten how to fight against heavy horse. And now that we admittedly are fighting more than just fat Saxons, I think the spear needs to be looked at it once again in a specific units, specialized units of spearmen, long spearmen, to counter these enemy horsemen.
I think there's wisdom in that. The Cymric people have a long history with the spear, and now that the enemy is changing, we should change too. And tell me, do you think ambush is dishonorable, Hugon?
He thinks for a minute, rolling his neck. I think it depends on who you're fighting. If you're fighting knights lining up on the battlefield, or another foe who wishes to fight head on, as foolhardy as that may be, then I think it would be to ambush such a foe. But if a war has been fraught with ambush, then if they do it, I see no problem with us doing it. Many of our people have been killed by such tactics.
A very good answer. I am good to end that there if you want.
Perfect. I was just about to suggest that. Do you have anything you want to add, Zach?
No. Other than there's a bit of an edge to Hugon's usually more jovial and lighthearted words at the end there.
We cut to Wessex, where we see Sir Florence and Sir Dallin in an interaction. I will get both of you to do an intrigue roll, please. Well, you guys roll. I will note that army we saw had over 700 Cambrian knights, 500 Logris knights, 2,000 Kimri infantry, and 5,000 footmen from Ireland and Gales.
Pretty good. No bonuses to the intrigue roll, yes?
No bonuses.
Okay. And this is Virgil that's rolling it.
No, this is Dallin.
Dallin, that's right. Okay. I thought I heard you say that, but I wasn't. I was like, we haven't. Like, I must have gotten that wrong.
Yeah, we cut to Wessex with Dallin and Florence.
Intrigue.
That says Virgil, but that is Dallin.
Okay.
Success.
Okay. So, and correct me if I'm wrong with either of these statements or any of the details. If you don't agree, we can hash it out. So, what Dallin knows about Sir Florence is Sir Florence arrived on ships from Cornwall and has been here for, I think you left last year, right, Florence? You've been here for,
so, yeah.
Yeah. You spent the winter here. You have only seen him in passing. I think the two of you probably kept your distance from each other given the awkwardness of the situation, but in this current circumstance, it's like you are passing each other and it's almost unavoidable. So Florence has been here with Cornish footmen, and you've observed, Dallin, more and more Cornish knights have arrived sort of in twos and threes in ways that wouldn't draw attention to an army arriving here.
May I ask what the bonus to recognize Florence is based on having met him before once when he was very young and his current status as a new Earl of Cornwall?
Yeah, just do recognize plus. What's your current glory right now, Florence?
12,000.
Yeah. Yeah, so plus 12.
Oh, good. I was wondering. I don't think I'm adding plus 12,000.
No.
Okay. That twerp I used to know, that very pretty twerp I used to know, he's gone up in the world, and also he looks kind of like he's a captive by his own forces, so that's fine.
As far as Florence, what you know from Dallin is Dallin's been kind of acting as the Salisbury. I think you knew that already, that he is a Salisbury diplomat in Wessex.
Yeah.
Sir Florence, or I hear Earl now. I can't say that it's fair of me to say I'm surprised to see you here.
So, Dallin, a pleasure. And I dare say, well, I could say the same. It's a pleasure to see you again. It's been quite some time.
I'm surprised you remember me. You were different the last time I saw you, much younger.
Yes, you were one of the fine knights who fought alongside my half-brother.
Edward, yes. He was a very dear friend. Regardless, I have to say I've been marginally aware of your situation with Cornwall, and considering you're here with their troops, I imagine you are here as their representative.
In a manner of speaking.
And I suppose that Cornwall is here to ally alongside Wessex to help invade our homeland.
It would be an assumption that one could definitely make.
They have been trying in vain, against orders from Salisbury, to convince Wessex that it is not in their best interest to invade Salisbury, and that, ultimately, our two peoples can coexist together, if not be friends someday. I suspect that the prince understands, but I think oftentimes the king only says what he has to in order to make me believe that he's listening.
I see. Well, if it might provide a bit of insight with the way things seem to be going, he is either the one who stands at the top or the one who kneels. And forgive me if I'm wrong, King of Wessex does not seem to be one who kneels before any. Not willingly.
I think perhaps many of us are stuck in old ways. Gortrix, Edward, and I, we all had different statuses. We fought together as comrades. None of us knelt to the other, not in deference, only in loyalty. I think it's possible that our peoples can learn these things as well. There's so much blood spilled between the two. It's hard to imagine a world where that's washed clean.
Perhaps. I would not say this is a battle between peoples anymore. It is a battle between kings. And there can only be one High King standing at the end.
It's at that point that there's an interruption. You both see a rider. We'll assume this is kind of in the courtyard and it's kind of quiet. You see a rider coming in quickly into the center of town, and he's making his way right for the two of you. You can both make a recognize roll. We'll give Dallin will give a +2, and Florence will give a -2, just from reasons, basically.
Oh.
Huh?
Success, somehow.
And was it +2 or -2 for me?
+2 for you.
I thought so.
Okay, so Dallin, I think we've described, was Dallin the one we described as nearsighted at one point? Or is that?
No. Dallin had famously quite good eyesight. It was Virgil that's nearsighted.
Yeah. We'll say you haven't really paid too much attention to this person. This is now for Florence, just from a spy mentality. You noticed this kid late last year, before Eranwi left for port, where she's effectively been acting as a spy. This is her squire, Caroleone. Her parents were esquires, none too bright of an esquire, and so named the boy after a city. He's a
charming little lad.
Pretty modest. His uncle was a knight, and his uncle died in London, so he's inherited armor, and thus he's been given a chance to become a knight himself, if he could find someone. And for whatever reason, we'll work that out. Eranwi has taken him in, but he is here now without Eranwi. It looks like he's in a bit of a huff, and I think we'll say that Dallin, like, by the time he says, "So Dallin," and kind of approaches you, you realize who he is. So, like, it takes you a minute, but you realize who he is.
Oh. My, it's been some time. How are you?
Ships. I'm here to report.
More specific.
Ships. They took Dame Eranwi. They took Dame Eranwi captive. She might be dead. I don't know.
What? Where?
Ships from the mainland and ships from Sussex. They're headed this way.
Take a moment, catch your breath, and then tell me everything. I want to act on this, and we're going to act on this. But we need to know everything, and for that, I need you to calm and breathe, okay?
At this point, you see, like, in the distance, down the way, you see a bit of a royal procession, which you assume is Kinrick arriving. Now, he's not arriving where you guys are. This is, like, down the way, like, hundreds of feet away. But as you kind of turn to look, you see, I'll give you heraldry or recognize rolls here. I'll go flat for both.
To the one on left and a rat.
A 3 or a 4? I think Edric's coming to save
Ooh. Yeah. Edward's back from the dead. Again.
Okay.
again.
Heraldry. Florence, you see the follow. I think, Dallin, you're very worried about what you just heard about Naranmi maybe being held captive. So you're like, okay, good. This isn't in earshot. I need to deal with this thing right in front of me. So that's what you're doing. As it's happening, Dallin, Florence, you look over and you see the banners of King Cerdic. Now, what's strange about that is you were informed that Cerdic marched his men outward to the ruins of Winchester early this year, like early spring. It's not supposed to be here. Beside him, you see the banners of the Prince Mark. And beside them, you see the banners of Syagrius.
Oh, fun.
That is a wild combination.
Enemy of your enemy? Yeah.
I think that's just the enemy of my ally, actually.
Yeah, maybe in this case.
The enemy of my ally is still my enemy. I think Dallin will give a quick glance to Florence and tell the squire whose name I'm forgetting.
Carlian.
Wait here a moment. Wait here a moment. And
he nods.
Goes to go. Dallin goes to go and move towards the king and Prince Mark. Let's go see what these guys are at. And Sigurius.
Now you didn't recognize them, so it would be. I'm just curious with your fumble. What would be your motive? Is it to get a closer view of who they are?
I thought you were telling me that because King Cerdic was here, it wasn't supposed to be here. That was the false information.
No, that's the info Mark's getting. Yeah.
No,
gotcha. Okay.
I think you would feel
that
Florence's hand on your shoulder, and he would say,
"There we go.
We need to talk now."
Yes, of course. What's going on?
Did you know King Cerdic was here? Or was supposed to be here?
No, he left at the start of the year to campaign towards
He points up
Winchester.
towards a banner in the distance.
I don't understand what's happening.
It's not
Here is
here
another.
as well as
Here's
is
another.
the-
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Here's another question for Bob.
Mhm.
Sigurius here. Is it widely known that he claims credit for killing Madoc?
Yes. Yeah, he made that public.
Yeah.
I gotta see if I gotta roll something here.
You can always start with prudent or reckless, or if you're famous and vengeful, you have to act.
Yeah, I am not famous and vengeful. I think I'm gonna roll them. I think I'm gonna roll both prudent and vengeful, and I'm gonna take it as a 2-hit success. I gotta succeed on vengeful and fail on prudent. Okay, not off to a good start here.
Okay.
Okay, good. Good. Dallin's just going to scowl and go very quiet for a little bit here.
So, Florence, do you pull Dallin aside, or are you standing right beside the squire that's still here? Like, what are you doing?
No, he pulled Dallin aside. And he'd say, Dallin, you are a man my brother trusts greatly, so I'm going to trust you greatly with something that you must not be spoken to anyone.
Yes, of course.
Let us say my loyalties are complicated. But in this situation, an enemy has arrived. One who I think you know, and is an enemy to you as well. One who has taken something very important to this land.
I think I understand what you're saying, yes.
Whatever happens here, this battle must either end in a draw, and then he looks around, or success for the powers that be. As well,
Florence.
if the Praetor is here, he must be stopped.
Florence. I don't disagree with you here, but I haven't been sent here to be a spy. I've worked more than half a decade of my life here, trying to build peace between these people. If I were to betray that trust now, I would be throwing away everything I've worked for here.
To Dallin, there is no peace here. This ends only one way.
You see a couple riders come in.
Warlords.
Happy. When the time comes, I'll do what I can do as per my judgment dictates. That's all I can promise.
That's all I ask. Now all I have to do is figure out why Aranwe was captured.
Both of the riders that just came in quickly moved to Carlion, the squire, and they both unhorse and start at the boy. No.
With that, Florence is going to kind of pat Sir Dallin on the shoulder and then push Sir Dallin in towards the squire and says, and you're probably going to need to find a way to take care of this.
Have my ways. I've known many of these people for some time. And she turns to the boy and she goes, how old are you? Quickly.
So just to be clear, Florence did pull you aside, so you're not immediately in close range of the boy anymore. He's across the way.
Oh, I thought
I clarified. I wanted to clarify that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. In that case, I think Dallin's going to make their way towards the boy then. And as quickly as possible. How old are you? Quickly.
He looks at you and he's like, 16.
Okay. You were born just south of Salisbury Manor, in a small village. You weren't born a knight, but we helped carry you into the family. You served with me here and here. Do you understand?
He nods.
Your name's Perin. You understand?
He is brains melting, but he nods. It was like,
good. You've been with me for at least a year. We reconnected recently. Do you understand?
He nods.
Good.
And with that, the knights, the soldiers are upon you. They speak Saxon, which you're fluent in. They say, "There he is. There's the boy."
Can I help you two gentlemen?
We're under orders. Take this one in. He's a fugitive.
I don't think that's right. This boy's been with me all day. And for the better part of the last year, at that. Whose orders did these come from?
Chief Port.
Oh, perhaps I can talk to this port. I have a long-standing arrangement with many of the chiefs here, and of course the king. If there is some misunderstanding, perhaps I can help you find the person that you are seeking to bring to justice.
Sorry, give me 1 minute, folks. I will cut this out, but I've got something open that's going to keep ringing. Somehow, even though I didn't turn on WhatsApp, it's on, so people are going to ping me in the middle.
Make a phone call.
Okay, I'm good. They just look confused, and they're like, he will still need to be taken under interrogation, or under, as prisoner and held.
Well, you can hold him under my service. I can watch him as I have already. After all, we are friends here. All of us, Saxon and myself and the boy, have drunk together and feasted together over these last years. I trust that you understand that your orders do not override the hospitality of the king.
Indeed. They look mad, and they'll walk off. All right, so we leave the boy in the care of Dallin. And then we're going to shift scenes.
Oh.
We see... we don't so much see as hear the shouts and cries, steel against steel, cries of death. And we see through the eyes of someone who's been spending way too much time in the dark, a shining light. They wince to shield their hands, trying to avoid the light. And we see the door open. We see Sir Jaren and a number of knights, maybe 2 or 3. In the cell is Jaren's wife, held captive for several years now. And I'm going to let you, Liam, play that character.
Do you want to have the first line, Zach, or shall she?
I think Jaren at this point in time looks very different from the last time Everard has seen him. He looks more of a wild man, barbarian, you could say. Hair long, beard, everything unkept. His armor, and in particular his weapon, is polished but dull. Too much exposure to the sun and the elements, and hasn't been seen after in any professional way in a long time. I'm not sure about the other knights with him, but as soon as he busts through the door, he'll take a few steps in still has a gleaming sword in his hand, probably coated in blood by this point. He doesn't seem to be breathing very heavily. And he slowly exhales. It has been some time.
Took you long enough, husband. Boy, what a mess we've made of things.
Jaren's brow furrows for a second. It's almost like the humor doesn't really hit him like it may have back in the day. It kind of confuses him for a second. The only mess. His Saxon corpse is on the ground. Here. And he'll take another step, kneeling down with some keys. I'm assuming these are is Everard just in a cage or perhaps chained or...
Everard was in a dungeon cell, effectively. It was caged. They were not treated the way you would expect most lady nobility to be treated in the hands of Saxons.
It was awful. They strapped me to an exercise bike and kept me on it the whole time.
That being said, nothing beyond that. We're not getting into any, Game of Thrones level treatment or real life level treatment here. Just so they didn't keep her, in a house arrest. Yeah.
So in that case, Jaren will unlock the gate. It takes him a second to fiddle with the key. And he does it all with his left hand. His right hand doesn't leave his sword, which is still drawn. And he is right-handed, so it's a bit awkward. But eventually, there's a click, and he wrenches the door open. Can you move?
I think so. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's left to fight for, Jaren. Hartford's... It's... Everything my father built is gone.
What do you mean? There are plenty of Saxon filth infesting the land. Of course, there's more to fight for.
Let's go. Anywhere is better than here. But it is good to see you, Jaren.
It is good. And Jaren kind of stops at his next word, and his hand kind of twitches or shakes as he holds his sword. Let's go. I'll lead the front. You there. Make sure my wife can walk. Support her side.
Sir. These are other displaced Hartford knights that have taken to the legend of the slayer of Saxons. All right. We shift scenes once more. we find Sir Rhodri amongst those traveling in the army. Beside Rhodri are a couple of familiar faces. We see Sir Argan.
Oh.
The one who wounded Uther and almost lost St. Albans for the Cymry. Uther's previous, what would you call that? Yeah.
Which he became
Hitman.
constable.
Yeah, bully. One of his many. We also see Sir Brastius. With that, Argan looks to Rhodri and says, "Seems we owe you a great congratulations on what you did inside London."
I did what was necessary.
That's what I mean. If I was still one of the king's constables, I would make sure that you were among my men.
But you're not, are you?
There's no king of Logres. What do you know of this Winter Prince?
You know, they claim him to be the heir of Uther.
Yeah.
Supposedly the son of him and the Dowager Queen.
What are your thoughts on it?
He shrugs. In the end, it's not my concern. I serve whom my lord does, because it is what benefits my family most. Whether he leads righteously or not is not my concern.
I suspect this fight will matter. This will be the one that decides whose hands Logres reside in. The grandson of Vortigern or the son of Vortigern? Actually, you could see.
Get much of a Vortigern.
You'd say descendant of Vortigern or the son of Vortigern. Yeah.
Yeah. I never cared much for Vortigern. Just another tyrant and a long history of it.
Indeed.
Uther was better. Though I suppose you would have a different opinion on that.
I'm afraid so would you if you'd gotten to your wife.
I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't have killed my wife like you did. Or the rumor's not the case.
A mistake I atoned for.
I suppose we all have our battles with wrath.
Why do you think Uther chose me as his constable? I'd travel the land and talk to those that were willing to listen. And if they weren't willing to listen, I would suggest a bit more strongly. And by order, if that didn't work, I would find a way to hurt them. Just as the king requested.
You consider what he did to you a betrayal, don't you? Made you a cuckold.
Yeah. He's like,
You go, Rhodri.
all right.
I don't give a fuck.
He kind of scoffs and laughs at it, and he says, I'm too old now to take offense to those things. Indeed. He embarrassed me for his own lust, as if a grain wasn't enough.
That is true. Unfortunate how things ended.
Unfortunate. Have you met this King of Gales, Nanteleod?
No, my brother seemed to speak highly of him at least.
He seems to have a loyalty to his soldiers, to his knights. Something I can say that Uther did not.
That is true. But I also worry. He is one who also has the blood of Vortigern.
Indeed.
Let's hope that he carries after his grandfather more than his great-grandfather. But it seems to be the case so far. Still, I don't trust him at all.
It's good to keep one's suspicions high in this time of anarchy. Let's pray that when this battle is over, we'll have a new king of Logris and a new high king.
Indeed.
Do you think they'll honor a boy as high king? I doubt it.
No. Yeah. He just kind of nods at that. I think he'll have to fight very hard to get what he believes is his. Uther's son or not. This is not the last battle we shall fight.
Far from it. Unless our enemies think otherwise. He smiles, suggesting that this could be your grave.
Then they shall learn that they are mistaken. Many said that London would be my grave. Yet there are so many more Saxons that lie dead in it than there are Cymry. Ironic, don't you think?
Indeed.
By the end of this, more Saxon bodies will be piled high, and they will learn they should never have battled with the Cymry.
And with that, we turn to a sound from the forest. All three of their heads sort of snap to the side, and then we cut away. And we see in the ruins of Badin, we see a servant, a scout, riding up and dismounting in front of Percy, or Perin, as he more recently has referred to himself, but only amongst select crowds. Liam, you don't really have a good rapport with this new scout, in that he's taken on the role of one of your many loyals that died tragically against Siagris. Nevertheless, he's come with high praise and been recruited upward, promoted upward through your ranks.
Well, somebody's got to be.
He's probably 22.
How long has it been since the battle? Am I still wounded from
That was last year, so absolutely not. You are recovered
Okay,
from everything that's not major wound.
Yeah. Well, what's the word, lad?
The armies of Nanteleod were seen marching through Salisbury.
Salisbury or to it?
Hard to say. Sir, there was a new banner, one with a white dragon on it. Green field.
That can't be right. Is there anything else you have to offer me with this?
Saw the banner of Summerland as well.
Okay. Well, it would seem that our two most recent and greatest employers are off to battle and they didn't see fit to invite us. I know I've asked a lot from you and the rest of the men the last few years, but I have a feeling that we're coming to the end of all of this soon. And there are those who are going to be fighting to preserve things the way they were, and those who are going to be fighting for things to be different. I would like to be on the right side of that conflict.
What is the right side, sir?
The side that survives. And the side that sees what comes next. Start preparing the men. We won't be coming back to this place.
Aye, sir. All right. We move back to Wessex. And we see that what does Dallin do that day? As we move towards, I want to set the scene in the nighttime, but I want to see what Dallin does for the daytime.
Yeah. What Dallin would like to do is to prep whatever they need to go after Oronway. Though what they said to Florence is true about not wanting to throw away the last few years of their life, I do think Oronway is triggering something very specific in them that is making them willing to die to save this person, you know? So they are going to start doing whatever they have to get more information and to also start prepping what they need to make it happen. A rescue.
All right. How important is the extra information? So give me an intrigue roll to begin with. Let's start there.
Oh, you spoil me, Bob. I might like to impassion this one. Nope. Oh, wait. I might want to impassion this one. Nope. Oh, wait. Here's my passion. Oh, what a shame.
Well, you succeed.
Oh, no!
Uh,
All right, here we go. That is a success on intrigue.
Okay. So there's a lot of moving parts here. You've not seen this place as active as it. This is as active as it's been all year since Cerdic left. There's definitely stuff about buzzing right now. The question is, you learn that what's the name of it? The capital of Portsmouth. There we go. Portsmouth is likely where Iranwi would have been taken to if Iranwi was kept alive rather than executed.
Okay. Then, yeah.
Now
Sorry, continue.
you have a hint that there's a man that would be willing to give you more information about getting in to Portsmouth, and perhaps a bit of information on what you're after with Eranwi.
What's the catch?
Midnight rendezvous. Very
Oh.
clandestine rendezvous.
Even in all this chaos. Okay. Yeah, I mean this is important to them, so they'll take the risk, even though this sounds shady as hell. Like a great way to get stabbed.
Okay. You make your way towards the edge of town. This is near the docks of where you are. I forget the name of the capital here. It's on the other side of Hanton. Yeah.
Better known as the docks.
I forget what it's named, but it doesn't really matter too much. So after a little bit, you're told to knock 3 times when you arrive.
Dallin will double check their gear one more time before they go in, but they will knock 3 times.
How are you dressed?
I think light armor underneath a cloak.
Okay.
Probably something closer to what the Saxons would wear. And I think maybe even they've tied up their red hair more in a Saxon style as well, just to help blend as much as they can. They're pretty small for a Saxon, but that will probably be the best bet for them.
Okay.
Oh, also in a more feminine presenting look as well.
Okay. You hear the voice of a man say, "Come in Wessex." In Saxon,
Dallin
rather.
pushes the door. Yeah. Dallin pushes the door open and goes, if this is a trap, I'd rather it get out of the way sooner rather than later. I'm very busy and very tired.
Okay. Give me an awareness test.
Not a great sign, my man. Success.
Okay. As you're not even through stating that, when you hear movement on the outside of the building, very close by.
Dallin will step back, get in a low position, and draw their sword.
Okay. Okay.
Facing the new threat specifically.
You turn and you see the door slam shut, and you hear some kind of commotion on the other side of it. You hear from behind you that same voice of the man that called out. He's like, "I'm sorry. They said that if I welcomed you in, they said that they would spare me."
They lied to you. I imagine they'll burn the building down. Is there another way out?
The windows. He doesn't. You turn and you see he's actually tied to a chair, so he doesn't point.
Let's see here. Would it be a strength check to throw this guy through one of the windows?
Yes, on a chair, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, my odds are not bad. If I fail, I'll be wasting time. But I think
I will say, so this is the type of thing. No, this would be like shuttered windows kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing where you're gonna have to hit a 10 or above to actually like achieve it. If not, you're like, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, I think, Instead, Dallin will quickly search the room for something else that they can use almost as a battering ram and try to go for one of those windows.
You could use his chair as a battering ram. That would be slightly easier than hip tossing him or something. Yeah.
Let's go for it. Let's do that.
Okay. So 5 or above success on this to do that.
That's a failure.
You're pulling and you're just having a hard time keeping it up enough to ram with it with full strength without hurting the guy. And I think you're trying not to hurt him.
Oh no, I don't care if I hurt him.
Okay.
I mean, I do care if I hurt him, but the priority is getting us out of this room first.
All right. I will give you a +5, but you start to hear the sound. You can tell that there's a little bit of smoke coming. Your instincts are right here. They're trying to burn this place down with you in it.
All right. I think what. No, actually, I want his extra weight on this chair. I don't want him to. I don't want him to be off the chair because it'll actually make it lighter. As an above 10 success.
Okay. Yeah. So you manage to basically break through. It takes you 2 rams, and you've kind of tossed him into. I imagine you let him down into the street.
Yeah, I think first things first, they're going to assume that people are going to be coming to try to kill them, but I'm going to think they're going to really quickly try to cut the ropes on the chair and get the guy loose before they try to run.
Okay. You hear nothing as you go to cut. 1 second. Okay. You see an arrow come whizzing by you, and it lands as you finish. Give me a dagger roll as you're cutting that. You can add a +5 because it's pretty easy action.
Thank God.
Okay.
Nope.
You're cutting. You just not all the way through yet. As this is happening.
Come on. The second this is loose, you run. Do you understand?
He nods.
No. Run with me. I need to ask you things about this.
All right.
I'm going to attempt it again.
Give me a +10 on this one.
Oh, thank Christ.
Just going to see here. All right. So you manage to cut him free, and he gets up. He's a little bit hobbled, but he's quick. He's with your help, he's able to kind of move forward. You can tell that there's 2 men coming your way.
Are you hurt?
He shakes his head. No, sir.
Then I'll follow you. Take me to the nearest village, someplace with lots of people. As quickly as you can.
That will take us into port, sir.
That's fine. Trust me and go.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead. You have 2 assailants, both with sea axes. They've turned as you round the corner. They both move to attack you, Dallin. This is a trap for you. How would you can go ahead and split accordingly? You have 2 assailants.
I would like to attempt to impassion with love of family. I think Dallin needs to see this through, because if they don't, then everything that's going to happen is going to happen to Salisbury.
Yep.
Okay. Thank goodness. All right, and that is only a +5, not a +10, yes?
Correct.
Okay, cool. So, let me do a little brief bit of math here. 5, 2. Okay, so that should, if I split evenly, that would be 12 each. I think I will go for it since they both got successes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see here. -7? Yes, -7. No, that's not right. But that's still a success. So, I'll take it. -6.
Your first exchange is good.
And a success as well.
Your second exchange, it means a partial for them. Do you have your shield with you? Is a question.
Yeah, probably a Saxon shield. Something that's a little bit lighter than their normal shield, but like good to carry one-handed.
Gotcha. Okay, go ahead and give me your damage roll. You can just do a basic roll. I'm gonna say that these guys aren't wearing armor.
Thank God, because I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of damage dice.
Yeah, it's probably gonna drop that guy in one go. You are facing some damage back. You take 15, and with your 7 + 3, you take 5 damage through your armor from the second strike.
Cool.
Yeah. And then you're left with one opponent.
On the second was 19.
Oh, you don't. The second outscaled you, so you got a partial.
So I don't do anything.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but now you have one opponent.
Okay.
The other opponent's
Much
down.
easier to do. Okay. Next attack. As the first one goes down, I think Dallin spins around and tries to go for a nice clean cleave right through the guy's leg. That is a low success.
Oh no! He gets another decent go on you. Ooh, jeez.
Well, that's much worse.
You take 12 damage that time. He managed to get the sea axe just like in the thing about knives is they go real nicely in between the nooks and crannies of armor, and that's what he managed to get here as you're wrestling with them.
Yeah. I'm unconscious.
Are you?
Unconscious is 6. I have 17 before taking this damage. Yeah.
Okay.
Just barely. And I take a major wound as well.
Dramatically, we see Dallin collapse in the street. And we see the sea axe guy go over to the other guy, and the other guy's like, no, please. And then you just hear cries, and we end the scene.
Something wet something.
Indeed. All right. I was going to do this with Mark, but I see he's not here, so I'm going to move forward. We're going to go back to Virgil and... sorry, I will get your character's name going, Zach, but I don't have the quick reference in front of me like I normally do.
Hey, Hugon or Hugon.
Hugon, yeah. Okay. Said it 3 times, hopefully that helps. As Virgil and Hugon are going, all of a sudden from the tree line, you see a lone rider in silver armor. They make their way right towards Durnford's banners.
Wow. Someone's trying to show off their wealth. Does silver even make for good armor? I think he turns to like one of his hounds and doesn't wait for an answer before he turns back. Flag them down.
They ride within a couple of, they keep enough distance to where spears don't necessarily come out their way. And then they stop their horse.
I hope you're not here to slow us down. We've got business.
The invaders come by boat through Camelot Forest.
Okay. And you are?
Sir Dallin.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I'm here on behalf of Sir Dallin.
Sir Dallin is a traitor. They stayed with the Saxons when everyone else was recalled. We have not heard from them in over a year. For what reason should I trust anything that you have to tell us?
I give you my word as a knight of Logres, he says, and he removes his helmet. His armor is strange. Like, I don't know if Virgil's seen that kind of armor before.
No, definitely not.
Now, I'm just trying to do the math. Was Virgil even alive?
Should have been, yeah. Let's see, I can give you the exact timeline on things here. In theory. No, I can't.
It's okay.
I believe...
How old is Virgil right now?
Virgil is 40...
Like 40 or 41, somewhere in there?
41, yes.
Yeah.
So Dallin is only 5 years older than him.
Yeah, and then... Wait, I did that wrong. It's okay. Yes, he was most certainly alive. So give me a recognize roll. Just flat, I think, in this case. You've met the other Dallin.
I'm nearsighted. I can't see. He takes off his helmet waiting for some reveal, and Virgil just squints at him.
And they don't seem to be doing the reveal in a dramatic fashion. It's more like when they say my word is a knight of Logres, right?
A lot of good that does anyone these days.
These days.
Why did you approach us specifically? There are a dozen more parties. I'm sure you could have caught up to one sooner. Is it just because my cousin's house?
Yes.
That's something, at least. Tell you what, friend, as I said, we're in quite a bit of a hurry. I am assuming that what you've told us is false, but on the off chance that it is truth, it would change some things for us. Why don't you ride with us while we regroup with the main force? You can try to convince me of your sincerity until then.
Very well. With that, he'll put on his helm and ride alongside the lot of you.
Virgil
Okay.
turned. I think just before we cut away, I think Virgil will turn to Hugon and go, I want you to keep an eye on him. Talk with him, see what you can figure out.
Hugon will nod and kind of whisper back. I'll try, but that armor keeps shining bright into my eye. I have to get a little closer.
Not too close. He might bite.
I guess I'll have to as well then. And he'll ride off to probably talk the ear off of a knight who does not want to talk very much.
Right? It's
Man,
great.
words
Bar,
up against
Sir Bar.
man with so many words. Yeah.
Right, we turn to Florence. The armies are given orders to march. But not only that, you look to the horizon here in Wessex, out to the open sea, and you see the largest navy you've ever seen, including your own time all those years ago when you fought alongside Siagris and the invasion or the defense of Swazan. These are long ships, though. Most of them.
Mm.
So anything you want to do with this information, you're about to be readying yourself for a march, which assumes battle. This is probably your last day before battle begins.
Yeah. I think he's mostly just preparing himself, preparing the knights that are under his command. And he's mostly trying to come up with a plan to be as uninvolved with the battle as possible, but not be obvious about it.
Yeah. Good luck with that one. You gotta really come up with a plan there. You do receive, as you're like walking back to your home, you hear from an alleyway. You hear, "Hey, psst."
Stops.
Give me an awareness roll. By the way, guys, if you rolled anything and succeeded with characters, you can tick those things, by the way. Forgot to say that.
Awareness. Failure.
Yeah, you don't see him. You know the alleyway, but you don't know where that came from. Didn't sound like an animal.
Well, he would... Yeah. Carefully, he would make his way into the alleyway, but he has, like, his hand on his sword. Just in preparation.
As you get closer, you see Caroline sort of like... He steps up, like, quickly. But you didn't fumble awareness, so it'll make you stab him, like, in defense or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you see him sort of like stand up, and he looks around.
What are you doing here?
Dallin had a meeting last night. We were going to go to port and try and save Aranmi. Dallin didn't return.
Where did Down go?
Down by the docks. I went and took a look earlier. There's a place that looks like there was a fire started there. It didn't destroy the whole building.
Show me. With that, he would turn to his squire and he just goes, "Spear!" Gets his spear chucked into his hand.
God, he's so cool.
You're led down to the area where, you see the building. It's like quarter burned. Which didn't burn is not made of things easily flammable.
Are there any people standing guard, or is it suspiciously quiet?
There are a couple of guards nearby, just making sure there's nothing going on, but most people are pretty busy with the muster at this point.
Alright. In that case, I think he'd just openly walk over to it, trying to figure out what happened.
Okay. There isn't really an intelligence or an investigation style roll. You can give me a battle roll. We'll count that up for skirmish.
Alright. Success on a 1.
Give me a hunting too.
Ooh, that's not so good. Let's see. I think this is a matter of honor, because he cares about Sir Dallin, and Sir Dallin is an ally. And he'd like to see Sir Dallin not dead. On a success. And then hunting +5. It's a 50-50 shot. And it was not in my favor.
Hard no on that one. So we're gonna rule out you finding like tracks or anything to do with tracks. Just isn't gonna happen. But you can tell that you see a part of the window shutters have been busted out. You see debris from that, which suggests someone sort of probably punched their way out, not in. I think you would think that they were trying to burn someone inside there. If there were shutters that were closed and they had to punch their way out. You see remnants of a chair on the ground. Just a single leg maybe from a chair. You see water on the ground, like it didn't rain. So someone was trying to like wash the ground. The only time you've ever seen that is when there's blood after like a duel to the first blood or something like that.
So he knows there was some sort of fight here, but he doesn't know how it ended.
Yep.
Or rather, who ended in what position. I think with that, he's actually going to go out and he's going to try and do some sleuthing, asking around. Anyone know what happened here? Presumably a couple hours before? Or the night before?
Night before.
The night before.
Yeah. Give me an intrigue roll. I'm going to make it -5 because of everything that's going on.
Okay, I'm guessing I'm not still inspired.
Yeah, this seems technically changed at that point. So
success.
Okay. It's not so much what people are saying; it's what they're not saying. Whatever this wasn't sanctioned by Cerdic. This isn't something formal. There's no sign of. You suspect that as a result, Dylan's probably not being kept in a jail.
Right.
Moreover, this doesn't formally breach Cerdic's hospitality.
I think he'd ask if there are any interest or specific. I think people matching the descriptions of the guards he saw that didn't have any emblems. If there are any, anybody noticed them going any place or leaving the city or anything like that.
Yes. They left this morning, returning to Portsmouth.
Hmm.
Would you like me to send them a message? It's like one of Cerdic's, like formal people.
Yeah. No. Just curious. Idle curiosity.
All right.
And I think with that, how long until Florence is marching out? It's like the day.
Yeah, it's like a couple hours. You'll be on your way. Probably by noon today.
Does Florence have any of his loyal knights with him, or are they stationed
Yep.
in Cornwall?
Yep, you could have brought. You probably didn't bring more than a convoy since you were technically here to train or take the foot soldiers, right, from Axe.
Yeah. So he'd probably have a few of his loyal knights. The rest would be still stationed in the Axe in case of emergency.
Okay.
And I think he would find the sneakiest of them and would instruct them to head to port and attempt to figure out what has happened to Sir Dallin. And, if possible, free Sir Dallin, but not in the way that might cost them.
We've got a real chain of investigating kidnapping.
Yeah. Let's have like 7 people deep that are kidnapped trying to save. I think that was Hot Shots Part 2, where it's like, we're going in to get the guys who went in to get the guys who went in to get the other guys.
Exactly.
Okay, so we will cut away from that. After some intel hits, Let me just see. Yeah. One of Sir Gareth's men rides up. This is going to go to, like, for sake of ease, we'll let all three of you be here. This is Virgil, Rhodri, and I want to say Egon, but that's not right. What is it? Damn it! I'll get it. Hugon. Yeah, so close. Hugon is here, and actually, Zach, do you want to change your name and roll 20 with Hugon, and then I'll totally be able to, like, get that, so I don't keep doing that for you. Just so I get used to it. Once I'm fluent in it, it won't be an issue. So this includes Nanteleod, and it's one of Sir Gareth's men from Duplain that's arrived.
Duplain
is your your easternmost castle. It defends from Winchester to Duplain. Yeah,
from the direction. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Virgil will actually ride forward for this one. Tell me it's good news. I have a headache.
The army in Winchester is a faux army. A distraction. I ride on behalf of Sir Gareth, the Castellan of Duplain. And
that's a good find. And that lines up with what our friend in the silver armor said. I need you, along with my men, to send word to as many of our forces as we can, and Nanteleod's. Let them know that the Saxons are going to be invading by sea. Through Camelot Forest, is that right?
correct.
Through Camelot Forest. We'll need to move quickly if we're going to have time to adjust.
And I'll just show you guys here on this map what that would probably mean. You guys might remember this briefly for those that participated in the Saxon aside, but through here. There is the actual bay there. And though that bay is not terribly good for most ships, for long ships, it's very good.
Did Hugon get at least a name from our silver knight friend?
He said Dallin.
He did say Dallin. Did he give another name?
No.
Did he give another name though?
Mm-mm.
Because Hugon would have been like, so what really?
Oh, you're gonna keep okay. All right, let's play that out. That'll be funny. So we'll say that's like just beforehand.
Yeah, Hugon would have rode up to the Silver Knight and give a wave as he approaches.
He hails you awkwardly, but continues to ride.
So, I must apologize, for I'm the one who's supposed to watch you. Seeing as we don't really know each other.
He looks at you, he studies you for a minute. Let's see if he remembers. He doesn't recognize the colors at all. He just kind of looks down, looks at you, and then looks back. Very well.
What? Oh, good. I'm Sir Hugon. Newly knighted, actually.
Then I bet you're looking forward to this battle.
Oh, not exactly. I mean, we all have to do our duty, but I was hoping some of my first few fights wouldn't be such large scale, and preferably right after a nice feast. But here we are.
A feast. I remember the feast in Sam.
You remember them? You haven't been to one in a while? You did say you were a Knight of Logris, so I'm guessing you've been in the area.
I keep to myself these days, in my manor.
Ah. And he like nods and very exaggerated. I'm not too familiar with your manor. Could you jog my memory? I have studied the maps.
I'm sure you heard of Blackboar. He evades slightly.
Should I do? What should I roll?
You can make a folklore plus 10.
Folklore, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do I? Oh, there it is. Nope, very much no.
You don't remember the words, but you know there's a song sung in Sarum about the favored sons of Blackboar Manor.
Almost like because Hugon does like to get in the little singing matches at feasts and the like. He kind of says a few of the words the song in a low tone, trying to remember the lyrics. I think I remember a song of all things about Blackboar Manor and something about the sons there. Are you one of them? A son? Was it you were liked, a good son, something?
Indeed. I think he's noticeably like quiet and trying to evade lying as much as he can, but while still answering politely. Do you want to make an intrigue roll? Because I think our character's good at that, aren't they? Are they?
They
You can roll anyways.
will be, but we'll see. We'll see. Not at the start.
Okay.
No.
You're picking up, like, they're being courteous, but there's just something off about their answers.
Hugon kind of stretches his shoulders for a second. So my marshal said that you must have been lying if you were named Dallin. You wanna have any explanation as to why he would have said that?
There's some in Durnford that are known for their courtly savvy mindset. I'm not so certain that your marshal is one of them.
He laughs. I've heard and been told many things about our marshal, and I don't think they're completely off that basis. So perhaps you're right. However, I still have to watch you, as I've been assigned. It's a little hard with that armor and the sun glare. Did you have to choose silver? I haven't seen silver armor in maybe one of the courts. And that wasn't a battle, though. You fight in that.
A fight, yes.
Do you plan to fight the invading forces with us?
The force is my charge. I fight all who invade it.
Well then, he kind of chewed on that thought for a second, but he smiles bright. Then I look forward to fighting side by side with you, Sir Dallin.
Indeed. Sir, I think you've introduced yourself, but he doesn't remember.
Sir, it kind of catches Hugon off for a second because he has a little bit of pride. Sir Hugon, yes, newly knighted and sure to. You'll see my spear on the battlefield. I'm a tall fellow, you could say. So, anyway, he kind of.
All right,
we can cut away from there.
Yeah. All right, gang. I'm just looking at the time here, and I'm observing that things are at an interesting spot. I wanted to do some of these asides. Sometimes it's hard to, or maybe I just failed to calculate the timing. So before we go any further, I'm going to make a proposal to you, and we'll see if Liam can hear but can't speak. So maybe I'll come back and have a thought to this. If not, we'll catch him up. But I'm thinking that as much as I wanted to do the battle as part of this big pre-recording, I thought it might be interesting to do the battle live next week for this group as a flagship game. And then we can dive right into the full 6. I have to figure out how that's going to work with the other games, but I don't think it'll matter. Please keep what was said here under NDA for now.
Yep.
Until everyone's through Fog of War. We'll play out the others will play out their battles, because I think it's important that we're not doing all the battles live, and I want as much of an audience, but then those folks can be there, listen, observe, and we'll see where it goes. So, all right.
Okay, that's a good idea.
All right, gang. I'm going to go ahead and call it quits there, just because if I go any further,